Hey there, folks. If you're enjoying these stories, don't forget to follow the channel so you can catch this and all our future adventures. And it really helps us out if you subscribe, like, and drop a comment down below. Thanks so much for your support. The Curse of Pharaoh Nekhti, an adventure in the haunted tomb no one leaves alive. In the heart of Cairo, down old alleyways filled with whispers of the past, archaeologist Adam El-Masry sat in his modest office, surrounded by maps and ancient books. In his hands was a rare pharaonic manuscript covered in strange symbols no one had ever been able to decipher. It told the story of the tomb of Pharaoh Nekhti, a ruler who vanished from history after his kingdom was cursed. Legend had it that anyone who tried to open his tomb would awaken his eternal shadow and never come out alive. Adam wasn't the kind of man who believed in curses, but his thirst for discovery pushed him forward, especially after he found an inscription pointing to the tomb's location in a remote desert. He shared the idea with his friend Yassine, an Egyptology researcher. Yassine hesitated at first, but couldn't resist the thought of finding a lost treasure. They assembled a small team, Layla, a skilled cartographer, and Summer, a geologist. Together, they set off on an adventure they might never return from. After days of searching under the blazing desert sun, they uncovered a massive stone gate buried beneath the dunes, covered in carvings that warned, "Here lies Nekhti Ra, do not awaken his shadow." Adam ignored the superstitions and ordered the workers to clear the sand until a narrow opening appeared. A rush of ancient dusty air poured out, sending an uneasy chill through the group. They stepped inside. The sound of their footsteps echoed through the dark corridors, until suddenly the gate slammed shut behind them with a thunderous boom, as if it hadn't been opened in thousands of years. One worker tried to run back, but suddenly screamed, collapsing to the ground, trembling violently. His eyes stared into the darkness, seeing something no one else could. Yassine whispered, "We've awakened something." They pressed on, torches casting long, flickering shadows on walls covered in intricate paintings. The images told the story of Nekhti Ra, a ruthless ruler who mummified his enemies alive so they could serve him in the afterlife. Then Layla spotted a strange carving, men entering a tomb and never coming out. "This isn't right," she murmured nervously. Before anyone could reply, a deep voice echoed through the chamber, whispering their names. A sudden gust of wind snuffed out their torches. When they relit them, Samar was gone. They called his name, but only their own echoes answered, until his body appeared out of nowhere. He was pale, eyes empty, as if his soul had been ripped away. Panic spread, but there was no turning back. They navigated narrow passages filled with deadly traps designed by the ancient Egyptians to guard their treasures. One path ended at a massive stone door. When they tried to open it, part of the ceiling collapsed, nearly crushing Yassine. Forced to find another route, Layla led them into a side tunnel, only for the ground to start shaking. Suddenly a huge pit lined with sharp spears opened up before them. They had to jump. Adam went first, then Layla, then Yassine. But the last team member wasn't so lucky. The ground crumbled beneath his feet, and he fell into the darkness, his final scream echoing through the tomb. The survivors eventually reached a vast chamber. In the center stood a golden sarcophagus, surrounded by statues of Egyptian gods. But before they could get close, shadows in the corners began to move, taking the shape of monstrous beings, half human, half mummy, with glowing eyes and terrifying whispers. "You have entered the forbidden tomb. You will never leave. The cursed guardians attacked. Adam fought them back with a burning torch, but it wasn't enough. Yasin realized the key wasn't fighting, it was in the inscriptions on the walls. He began chanting the ancient words aloud. The guardians recoiled, hissing in pain. Finally, they reached the sarcophagus, encrusted with jewels and gold. Adam touched it, and a strange power surged through him. Slowly he opened it. Inside lay Nekhti Ra, eyes wide open as if he had never died. The ground began to shake violently. A massive black shadow rose, wrapping around them. The Pharaoh had awakened. "You have disturbed my rest, now you will pay." The shadow morphed into a towering figure made of sand and darkness, its eyes glowing like burning embers. It hurled a wave of dark energy at Adam, who barely dodged. Every exit was sealed. "The key is the Pharaoh's heart," Layla shouted, pointing to a statue of Anubis holding a golden heart. Adam sprinted toward it, fighting through the guardians. The moment he seized the heart, Nekhti Ra screamed, his body disintegrating into dust. The tomb began to collapse. They ran as the ceiling caved in, dodging falling stones and deadly traps, until they found another stone door. Adam pressed the golden heart against it, and it swung open to reveal a passage leading outside. They stumbled into the desert, gasping for air, just in time to see the tomb sink back into the sands as if it had never existed. They thought they were safe. But back in Cairo, Adam began having strange dreams, hearing whispers in the dark, seeing his reflection with glowing eyes. One night he woke to find hieroglyphs carved into his skin, as if burned there by some supernatural force. Yasin and Layla watched him with growing concern. His voice changed, his movements became unnatural. Then one night Adam looked at Layla, and in his eyes she saw the shadow of Nekhti Ra. Before she could scream, he whispered in a deep, echoing voice, "The curse has passed. I am the new immortal." Finally, thank you all so much for listening, really. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to follow the channel and keep an eye out for future videos. Please subscribe.